guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my 26 most anticipated 2020 romances, both YA and adults. Some of you who've been following me might know that I have become much more of a romance reader in the last couple of years, and I'm paying more attention to releases, and there are quite a number of 2020 releases that I'm really excited about. Like I said, this is a mix of YA romances and adult romances. Many of the adult romances are probably going to be on the steamier side. Some of the YA ones might as well, and I'm okay with that, but just so you're aware. I'm going to mention 26 different books today if you guys are interested in checking them out, and I will leave a list down below if you want to add them to your TBR. Hi guys, I just wanted to pop in briefly to let you know that this video is also being posted as part of the Tweet Cute blog tour. I did read Tweet Cute in December. It was super adorable. Absolutely loved it. So keep an eye out for my little mini review in here. Definitely one of my most anticipated romance releases for 2020. It's basically a YA retelling of You've Got Mail, but for Gen Z in the social media era. It's so adorable. So adorable. Highly recommend you guys go and check it out. It is coming out in January, and I will put the date on the screen. I'm going to be going in order of release month for those that we have dates for so far, but I do have two books on this list that we do not have dates for, so I'm just going to mention them here at the beginning of the video. First up is Well Played by Jenn DeLuca. This is one of my most anticipated romances for next year. This is her follow-up to Well Met, which was her debut 2019 romance taking place at a Renaissance fair, and I am really excited to get more in the series. Well Met was my favorite romance of 2019. And the other one that we do not yet have a date for is the fourth book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. These are kind of steamier YA/new adult fantasy romances, and it looks like we might be getting the fourth book in that series sometime late in 2020, but again, there's not a release date listed yet. Moving on, let's talk about releases for January. For January, I've got 4 books that I wanted to talk about, one of which I have already read an e-arc for, and it is super adorable, and I'm telling everyone they should read it. This is Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. It is a YA contemporary romance that is basically You've Got Mail, but for Gen Z in the social media era. It's super cute, really funny. I absolutely loved it, and I think people are going to eat this one up, so I would recommend checking it out. It is coming out in January. Next up is Headliners by Lucy Parker. I have read a couple of other books by her in the series and enjoyed them. She's writing this series that is set in London's West End, following actors and actresses and critics. This one I can't recall the exact premise, but it involves an interracial couple. I'm loving the cover of it, and in general I've enjoyed what I've read from her, so I'm definitely planning on picking this one up at some point. Next we have Off Script by Kate Watson. This is a contemporary YA retelling of Emma by Jane Austen. I think this has the potential to be really fun. I love Emma, and I think it is comedy gold if it's done right, so I'm interested in this one. I'm probably going to wait and see what the reviews are saying about it before I pick it up, but it's one I've got my eye on. Lastly, for January, I have Rogue Princess by B.R. Meyers. This is a sci-fi gender-swapped retelling of Cinderella, which sounds super fun. I love the cover, and I do have an arc of it, so I'm hoping to get to this in January. Moving on, let's talk about February releases, and again, I have 4 books for February. The first one is Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. This, I think, will be really fun. She's the author of When Dimple Met Rishi, and this is the first in a new series that is retelling classic fairy tales at a boarding school, which is just 2 things that I generally love. The first book is going to be a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And just so you know, for February, all of them are YA. I don't know why. There weren't really any adult titles I was that interested in for February, but you will be getting more adult titles kind of as we move further into spring. The next one is Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertali and Aisha Saeed. This is a teen rom-com that sounds really great and very timely. It follows 2 teenagers, one of whom is a Muslim girl who end up meeting writing while doing political canvassing for an election. So moving into 2020, an election year, this seems appropriate that it's coming out. I like the intercultural romance aspect and that it's being co-written between them, so I think this one is one to watch and one that hopefully will be a whole lot of fun. Next up, I have This Train is Being Held by Ismee Williams. This sounds super cute. It's about two New York City teenagers who keep meeting each other on the train headed to school and slowly develop a romance. One of them is a girl who goes to private school, and the other one is a Dominican American boy, and they deal with racism, they deal with family expectations, they deal with kind of normal coming of age teen stuff, but it's this romance that develops across subway trains, which I just think sounds like a lot of fun. And finally, in February, there's a debut novel that I'm interested in picking up. This is called Together We Caught Fire by Eva V. Gibson. This is more of kind of like a dark forbidden teen romance that sounds interesting between a girl and her new stepbrother. So like if you're into the like forbidden romance thing, this one might have some thriller aspects to it, but it is a romantic debut. Moving on to March, I have 3 books to talk about, and all of them are adult romances. The first one is a kind of blend of fantasy and romance, and I'm super excited to have an arc of it. I've already started reading it. I can't wait for this, guys. This is Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is her adult sci-fi fantasy debut, and like I'm barely into it. I'm starting a reading vlog, so that is coming. I'm hoping to finish it in the next like week or so, even though it's a tome. It's like 800 pages long, but I'm so hyped for this, guys. It is releasing officially on March 3rd. Next up, we have Undercover Bromance by Lyssa K. Adams. This is the sequel to the Bromance book club, which I absolutely loved. This one is following a different couple, and the main novel that they're using to figure out what to do to make this relationship better is going to be a romantic suspense. The main novel in the first book was a historical romance, and I just absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see what else we get in the series from her. The final book that I have for March is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. This is a contemporary rom-com that sounds very interesting and very entertaining. I do have an e-arc of this from NetGalley, so I'm going to be trying it out. I have only read one Christina Lauren, and I had mixed feelings on it, but I want to try something else from them, and this sounded like something I might enjoy. It involves a couple who have a house renovation show who in reality are kind of a nightmare together, and the romance is between their 2 assistants whose job is to keep them from like blowing up and going crazy. I don't know, it sounds interesting. I think it could be fun, so we'll see how it goes. So for April, I only have 1 book to talk about. This is To Have and to Hoax by Martha Waters. It is a historical rom-com, and it sounds like it could be a whole lot of fun. It's about a man and a woman who are married but don't necessarily get along very well, and so they like try to play hoaxes on each other, pretending to like have illnesses or injuries or something. And I don't know, a couple of my friends seem interested in reading it, and it just sounds like it could be fun. I tend to really enjoy historical romances. Moving on to May, I definitely have the most books to talk about for this month. I have 6 books on this list. The first one is The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. This is the 3rd book in her series that started with The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test. It's going to feature a relationship with another character. I don't know a whole lot about the specific plot of this book, but I do know that I've enjoyed her other 2 books, and I will probably be picking this one up as well. Next is maybe one of my most anticipated romances for 2020, and that is How to Catch a Queen by Alyssa Cole. This is a spin-off series from The Reluctant Royals, so the characters in this book did have cameos in her last series, and this is the Runaway Royals series, which I'm so excited for. Alyssa Cole is definitely one of my favorite contemporary romance authors. I love her books so much. They're fun, they're interesting, they are also socially conscious and often nerdy, and I am very, very ready for it. Then we have Say Yes to the Duke by Eloisa James. This is the 5th book, I think, in the Wilds of Lindo Hall or Wilds of Lindo Castle series. I've read all of the books in the series, and I don't think I've 5-starred any of them, but I just generally enjoy them. They're all between like 3 and 4 stars for me, and so I plan on continuing on with the series. They each follow a different character, and you know, they're not perfect, but they're fun, and I enjoy them. Then for another adult historical romance, we also have A Royal Kiss and Tell by Julia London. We don't really know much yet about this book. We don't have a cover, we don't really have a plot, but I really enjoyed A Princess Plan, which was the first book in the series. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had kind of a murder mystery subplot and a royal and commoner romance, which I enjoy. So it was just a lot of fun. I had a really good time with it, and so I'm interested to pick up the next book in the series, but again, we don't have much information about it yet. Then we have a couple of YA romances. The first one is By the Book by Amanda Sillett, and I think this one might be another debut novel. It sounds like a whole lot of fun. It follows a teen girl who loves the classics and decides to use the classics to give romance advice to people. It has like Emma vibes to it, but maybe a little bit different. And I looked at a couple of the early reviews and they said that they think that if they were more into the classics, they would have enjoyed it even more, and they did really like it. I do like the classics, so this just sounds like it would be a good time. And then lastly for May, we have Date Me, Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. I do have an e-arc of this one, so I will definitely be reading and reviewing it. It just sounded like a lot of fun. It is a queer teen rom-com, and I was told actually in a video where I talked about this as a book I was going to be reading for 2020 that apparently this might have been based on a Japanese manga, which is kind of interesting. So what I may do is try to pick that up as well and maybe do like a compare contrast thing. That could be interesting. The basic premise of this is that there is a boy who's very popular at high school who takes a dare where every week he has to date the person who asks him out first on Monday morning and date them for a week. And so there's a gay boy who's had a crush on him for a long time and decides to ask him out and is surprised when he says yes because he's straight, right? But then maybe not, maybe he's not. And yeah, so I don't know, it sounds like it could be a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes. Moving on, let's talk about June. For June, I have two books to talk about. The first one is Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the follow-up to Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I really love Talia Hibbert. She's another one that's become one of my favorite contemporary romances. She does great, diverse, steamy books, and I think this one should be a lot of fun. Then we also have Now That I've Found You by Christina Forrest. I don't remember all that much about the plot of this one, but I love the cover, and I remember hearing about it and thinking that just sounds so great. I need to try it and pick it up, and now I can't remember why, but I wanted to put it on this list. Maybe I should look it up. Let's look it up. So this one follows an 18-year-old girl who is poised to be Hollywood's next big movie star, but she is searching for her disappeared grandma in New York along with a cute boy who's a musician or singer, and it's them like spending a week together in New York City searching for her grandmother, and I assume falling in love. In July, I also have two books to talk about. The first one is Wild Rain by Beverly Jenkins. This is the second book in her Women Who Dare series, and I mean, just look at that cover. It looks amazing. I have come to really, really love Beverly Jenkins. She always gives you such a great history lesson along with your romance, and this one I'm sure will also be great. Like, I don't know exactly who it's following or what's happening, but I haven't read any historicals from her that I haven't liked, so I'm sure this is going to be a good time as well. The other July release I'm interested in is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. Again, really, really stunning cover. This is an adult romance that apparently has kind of like a telenovela quality to it. Again, I can't tell you a whole lot of details about it, but it sounds awesome, and I've seen the author posting on Twitter, so definitely one I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Then I just have one book for August and one book for September. In August, we're getting The Bride Bet by Tessa Dare, which is the next book in her Girl Meets Duke series. I have just really, really enjoyed this series in general, and gonna keep reading whatever Tessa Dare puts out. She is just really good at writing funny historical romances that are like pretty good at being feminist and have strong heroines to them, so definitely gonna be reading The Bride Bet. And finally in September, we are getting Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. This is the sequel to Serpent and Dove, which is her YA fantasy romance debut. I really enjoyed it, especially for the romance. Like, for me, the romance was really the highlight of it in the first book. I'm not sure exactly what the storyline in book 2 is going to be, but hopefully we'll get another really strong romance. That's what I'm hoping for, so I will definitely be picking that one up in September. So there you have it. Those are all of my picks for most anticipated romances of 2020. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on the books that I shared in this video. And for your question of the day, let me know what are one or more of your most anticipated romances for next year. Are they the same? Are they different? Did I talk about ones that you're excited about? Or are there others that you would put on this list instead? Talk to me in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.